Welcome back to Online Darts, everyone. We are here in Northampton. We've got a rock star, Joe Cullen. Joe, busy time straight off Pro Tours now here at Exhibition, playing plenty at the moment.
Yeah. I'm not good to be. No, it's a lot, but come the end of the year, it's always a lot. Whether it's competitive, whether it's exhibitions, qualifiers, anything. It's busy time. Come the end of the year, so it's been a lot.
Look, these exhibitions are obviously great. You get to meet the public, the fans get to see you up close. Do you still enjoy them as much?
Yeah, it's great. Do you know how I prefer these to the Pro Tours? There's no sort of pressure on how you play, anything like that. You get to have a bit of a laugh, and you can see how much the fans enjoy it. So yeah, I really enjoy these.
Where is the Joe Cullen game at the moment? Well, one day it looks really good, and the next day
you know as much as I do. It's frustrating. It's just a weird thing at the minute. It's just game to game. I'm not sure I'm going to play, which is I've had it in patches in my career, but not as prolonged as it has been. So it's a strange one. I played Ricky in the Europeans of a week, and I felt unbelievable going overseas. The best I felt in a long time, and went up and I played terrible. So I'm so up and down at the minute, but that's the story of the year. But I think I was speaking to friends of mine, and I think if you give me a choice, you look at players on the tour now who've not won a title all year, but they've been consistent. They've been getting board finals, last 16s, throwing like semis here and there in a final, but they've won nothing. I'd much rather have it being consistent. I've still got 2 titles somehow, but yeah, those couple of days I've played well, so I know it's there. It's just there's no one more frustrated than me.
Your on-off love affair with the Grand Slam obviously continues. I know.
Yeah, I didn't want to qualify anyway.
Well, I remember a couple of years ago you declined to go to the qualifier, so that was my next question.
Yeah.
The Grand Slams are fun. Hopefully, we're going to get some clarification on next year's criteria. Yeah. They might simplify it a little bit because it's going to 48 players and so on. But was there a temptation not to qualify for this year's?
No, I was always going to go. I thought at one stage, I think I was in one of the provisional spots with winning 2 Pro Tours, and then I think Springer won a European, and then I think Ross won another Pro Tour, so it wouldn't have materialised. But I don't know. I think the PDC have recognised that the criteria is flawed. It was too late for them to put it into play this year, but they're working on it next year. So it'd be interesting to see what sort of route they go down, whether it be they use the rankings to put like top 18, top 16, or whether they continue down the if you win something you're in. Like I say, I'm not for 1 minute saying that I deserve to be in the Grand Slam, but I've won 2 events, which is more than quite a lot that are in it. But yeah, I think once the BDO aspect went, I think the tournament sort of lost the appeal in that aspect. And then obviously when it came ranked, I think they needed a bit more clarification on who was going to get in and how they was going to get in. But yeah, like the PDC rarely get things wrong, so it'd be interesting to see what criteria they do come up with. Yeah, well, again, I'm just looking at it from, we know there's going to be 16 groups. That would instantly say to me the top 16 in the world will be the seed for each group. I'm just guessing that. You would assume that. Yeah, I've had a similar rumour, with 48 in, 16 groups of 3. That's the rumour that I've heard. So yeah, you would assume that. But yeah, it's one of them. It's just you can protect the top 16 all you want. How much protection do you give them? I was in the top 16. I think about 10 years constant. I don't think there's much in it, and I don't think I got as much protection as the top 16 now do. But on the other hand, at the same time, I was saying, well, the top 16 are there for a reason, so they deserve that sort of accolation of getting into certain things. But like I say, the PDC are pretty good at a lot of things they do. And often if they do get it wrong, they correct it almost straight away. So it'd be interesting to see what the criteria is.
Well, it's interesting that you touch on it. Obviously, you've been on both sides of the coin, in the top 16 and out the top 16. What's your general opinion at the moment? Do you think there is too much protection, or do you think they've earned the right to be protected?
Both. I think it's 50-50. I think a lot of people have a problem with the Euro Tour with the top 16 thing, but it's one of those. I think the PDC have sort of done it backwards. If the Euro Tour was a brand new tour come tomorrow and they put that criteria in place, everyone would say, yeah, that's fine. I get it. But because they've gone, it was top 16 Pro Tour, then it was this and it was that. And I think that's what people doesn't sit right with them. But I've benefited both sides of the coin, and I don't really have an opinion or a view on each side of it. I think that you can find pros and cons on all sides of qualification criteria in any tournament. So, it normally comes from the ones that on the periphery and struggling to qualify for them that are the ones that are moaning the loudest.
No, I get that. What's the chat been like at Pro Tours recently when obviously Michael not going to Minehead, and at one point Nathan, Luke, all looked as if they were struggling to get there as well. What was the chat amongst the players and whatever when the big guns are struggling to get to these tournaments?
Do you know what? I don't think anyone really cares. It's darts is that sort of personal and that like focus one dimensional. I care about myself. I don't care about anyone else. Don't get me wrong, I want my mates to do all right, but if they don't, I don't care. And at the end of it, I care about myself. And as they do, it's a selfish sport in that aspect. But I don't know. I think I'm not sure like how many tournaments people like Michael and that have played, but I think it's more than people think it is. Like Michael's obviously not qualified. I think he's played a decent chunk, certainly enough to qualify for Minehead. Somebody of his calibre.
I would say over half, or without looking, I would certainly say he's played over half of the 30.
Over half for Michael Van Gerwen, you would say he would qualify, but for one reason or another, I think Michael's obviously he's had a lot going on away from darts, and we all have at certain times in our career, so it affects people in different ways. But I think, like you said there, I think a lot of the boys are struggling, but they've been to more than what they think it is. But I think the public sort of jump on it and say, oh well, they don't go to this. They go to plenty. Certainly enough for people of their standard. You're talking about 3-4 top 16 players that are not getting in.
Well, at one point, the top 3 in the world were struggling to be there at one point.
But then again, as well, I think the foreign pro tours, a lot of the top boys choose not to go to them. John, like I say, I've said things in the past. Johnny's been absolutely hammered for it recently as well. But it's not coincidence that I think at some of the Hildesheim, I think one of them's 2 of the top 16 ones there. It was Ross Smith and Danny Knott. Yeah,
there was most of the top 16 midfielders.
The fact that 14 top 16 players are missing out, they're not all in the Premier League. This was after the Premier League.
Yeah.
So you can argue and say, the Premier League was on, the schedule's packed. Yeah, I get that. A lot of them was afterwards. So I think I see both sides of it. Like I say, there's certain views that a lot of players have that you can't agree with everyone's views. And like I say, Johnny, his was a throwaway comment like mine was, and he's been absolutely hammered for it as well, saying about the Hildesheim thing. But you get in my position. Ironically, I think that was I saw a lot of things on Twitter, and ironically, I obviously slagged Hildesheim off, and then I won Hildesheim to get in the Grand Prix. That was so fun. The irony of it there was, I was like, I got quite a few messages out. I thought, well, yeah, I'll take that one. Yeah.
Look, obviously on this, the players, is it quite split between the players? Because obviously, I know you're not the only one. I know Johnny's not the only one that doesn't like it. They just don't say it like you boys.
Yeah.
I know there is a lot of UK-based players that hate travelling for the Pro Tours, but then the European players will say, well, we have to travel, and vice versa. Is it quite split between the players? And do you like, as players, do you ever speak about it?
Yeah, we speak about it. Yeah. I'll tell you now, I don't even have to name names, but I'd say the top 20 UK players, I reckon 19 of them agree with what I say and Johnny says, but
they don't say it.
They don't say it. Not that they have to say it. It's their prerogative. If they don't want to go, don't go. That's the way Barry's always run the business. It's like, well, if you don't want to go, no problem. The sport waits for no one. If you don't want to go, someone else will take your place. No problem. You see that with some of the winners, like over the, maybe even myself to an extent, the way I've been playing. I know I played well the day I won it, but myself to an extent, you wouldn't have picked me out to probably win that event, but maybe the weekend field went for me that day. Like I think Bielecki won it the day before, didn't he?
Yeah, Sebastian.
You know what I mean? Like Bielecki, a really good player, but I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be on the tip of anyone's tongues to be tipped to win a tournament.
Look, he's had him about 501 that day. So
there you go. But it was his day, and I think. Do you think that he would have won that if every player was there?
I would probably say no.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, he could, but my gut would say no.
Could's a massive thing. That's what I say. But then, if you look at it, then that having them over there and top players not going lends itself to, other people and opportunities for other people. I think Jermaine won his first one.
Yeah,
he'd lost in a few finals and he won his first one there. Obviously, I've benefited from it. So, I've got my views on it, but it's benefited me this year. So. The irony is unreal.
Where you are in the rankings now, does that kind of force your hand next year that you're going to have to go to some of these Pro Tours then that perhaps you would have skipped if you were in a better position?
Yeah, well, I've been to them this year. But yeah, like I've had a tough couple of years, on the board, away from darts. Like I say, everyone has. So it's just I'm in the predicament now that I'm in because of me. It's not your fault or anyone else's fault. So yeah, there's only me that could put it right. But I think the last few years I've lost a lot of love for the game. I don't enjoy playing darts anymore as much as I should. There was times where I used to look forward to going to darts, and like now I look forward to having the crack with the lads more. I think I'd miss that more than I would darts, that's not right. If you want to be successful in this game, it's not right to have that attitude. But that's where it is at the minute, and that's the reality of it.
How does Joe Cullen then get that love back? How do you rekindle that love for the sport? Because we've seen you when you're in the mood and when you're in the groove, you are an unbelievable player. That I look at when people ask me my favourite like Ali Pally memories. You're in a lot of them.
Yeah, I've lost.
But you've contributed to an unbelievable game. Is what I'm saying. So how do you get that fire all the time? How do you get that love back?
I'm not sure. I think the problem I've got at the minute there's so many more players that I don't think I've as much ability as I have, but there's so much more hungry than I am, and that counters it. Because if I'm not essentially too bothered what the outcome is, somebody with less ability than me that absolute live for darts, that they've got a better chance of beating me than I have them. Probably, if you look at it that way, you look at people coming through that. Wessel Neiman is playing unbelievable darts, and you can tell he loves the game. The way people talk about the game, the way they talk about the equipment, and they love the game. And I think, well, can't remember the last time I felt like that. You know what I mean? I love the equipment I've got and things like that, but then the want to get up and play. Like we've got a weekend off. I can't think of anything worse than playing darts, where some of the boys are looking for local competitions, are looking for anything. They're playing during the week. They're playing pub darts, and because they love the game. And I think it's been escalated a little bit with the rise of Luke Littler over the last couple of years, because you've got so many youths coming through. They can see the opportunity in the game and the money in the game. You can make millions if you're good enough. You can make millions. So I think Luke's escalated the game a little bit further, and then you get people like myself who aren't really in love with the game as much, who are essentially going to get left behind. Like I think, like late 20s, early 30s at the minute, in terms of rankings. So I think it's if I don't sort my attitude out in that aspect to try to get back in love with the game, I think then it could be a slippery slope. You've seen it happen so many times. Look at like people like Glenn Durrant won the Premier League, and it's so bad to see me and Wes was great mates, and Wes has gone, and there's so many top players, and they're just not there anymore. And I think that just proves that it doesn't wait for anyone. It could be, for all we know, it's not going to. I wouldn't say it happened, but for all we know, in 2 years' time, it might happen to Luke Littler. We don't know. It literally is that. It could be that short or long of a career, depending on the amount of effort you put into it.
I love listening to you talk about this, because normally we speak in PDC environments, and it's very different because you're charged and you've just come off the stage and so on. But obviously, you said that you don't know how to get that back. Can you get it back once that fire is gone and someone's turned that candle off?
I don't think it's gone. I think it's more dormant. I don't think it's gone.
That's cool.
Like look at the game. Like you just said with the World Championships there with Wessel Neiman. I wasn't really up for the Worlds, and then when I heard sort of all
one of my favourite moments.
But I heard all the sort of that noise, and I just thought, I'm not letting him beat me. And it was But that's not going to happen every game. It can't happen on board 14 in Leicester. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
It can't happen. But I need to find that happy medium. When I first started, I was really good on the floor and terrible on TV. Then it sort of spun a little bit. I was decent on TV and not so good on the floor. And I need to find some sort of middle ground, because, as I say, the draws come out now. When I first started, you could look around the room and you could probably handpick 5-10 players. I wouldn't mind getting him. I don't really need to play well to beat him. Whereas now, you can pick favourable draws, don't get me wrong, but you still have to play well to beat the favourable draws. There's genuinely no easy draws.
Look, the Worlds is on the horizon. Then we know the Worlds can turn around anyone's season. It can go from an average season to a good season, a bad season to a salvageable season. Are your eyes already on Alexandra Palace?
Yeah, well, no, it's on the players. Obviously we're missing the Grand Slam. Got a few bits in between with exhibitions and stuff, and they're good to keep ticking over, because if I've got 2 weeks off, maybe won't practice as much as I should do. Exhibitions, like obviously we're here in Northampton, these keep ticking over, and there's still an element of that competitiveness rather than just throwing it aboard with your AirPods in. But yeah, I think as soon as mine is finished, then I'll be thinking about the Worlds. Yeah, I think a couple of years ago, I think Luke Humphries is defending it. I think is he? He beat me in the
Luke's defending
16,
the win. Littler's defending the trophy. Humphries is defending the check.
Yeah, that's check. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, I obviously know Luke beat me in the last 16, so I'll be defending that. And like I say, 35 grand's a big chunk of money off your rankings, especially if you're progressively falling down them. So yeah, I need to be on it, and I think maybe there's probably with the 1-8 at the minute, there's probably a couple of decent draws in there, but I think probably I get a tough draw. Normally get a toughish draw, and I think that might be the thing that, like you just said there, with the fire that might sort of spark me and think, this is not a gimme. If it's a gimme, you might get a bit complacent. So yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. It's I've had a tough year, but I think my wife always says that I'm far too hard on myself, like in regards to the amount of, but it's what I expect from myself. And I went from like winning a Pro Tour, playing unreal, and then the next day played horrific. It's just, honestly, there's no one more frustrated than I am.
Calendar as well is out for 2026. 2 new Euro Tour destinations, an extra one as well. What's your thoughts on the calendar overall? Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Krakow. I've heard only good things about Poland, and that's not one of them things just for an interview. There's been a couple of World Series there. I've not played them myself, but like the management and the people that I'm close to, they've said it's unbelievable country. So I'm looking forward to that. I think I'm gonna take my wife to that and maybe do like Auschwitz and stuff. It's always been interested in. But yeah, I think I'm comfortably in the first probably 4.
I think
maybe 6. I'm not sure. So yeah, again, that's another challenge come next year. I need to start well, but I started well this year. Final the first one, won 5th, 6th, whatever it was. So yeah, but I know I'm defending them next year. So I need a quick start. That's where I think my year's been undone a little bit. Missing the Europeans. I should never have missed the Europeans. I think there was 4 or 5 games where I missed match darts, but I can always forgive yourself missing 1 or 2 match darts. But I think some of them missed like 5 match darts, so it's unforgivable, especially at this level. So it's one of them. Maybe it's a bit of an eye opener. I spoke to Mike Smith. Obviously, he missed Blackpool, he missed the Grand Prix, and he said it may be the kick up the backside that I needed. And it's just sometimes it takes something like that. It might not, it might do, but sometimes it takes something like that, a bit of a wake up call that not everything's going to be handed to you.
Joe, absolute pleasure catching up with you here. It's nice catching up away from a PDC because just the way you've opened up there, some really, really good bits in it. Not Bayless, just some really, really good bits in there. It's good.
I like to say I enjoy things like this because you get so many just robots. It's like, yes, oh yeah, well, yeah, he played well. And it's just so boring to watch. And I don't think I've said anything out of turn.
It's been good.
Yeah, I don't think.
Are we going to get a World Championship walkout again this year?
Depends who I draw.
Cheers, buddy.
Nice one. Cheers, lad. Come on.
To change your